Good evening. Black Wall Street Legacy Inc. back with you again. Albany, Troy, Schenectady, Rensselaer. As always, it's a blessing and an honor to be able to communicate with you and for you to welcome us into your home. So this week we're starting off with a whole new type of conversation. We want to dig deeper into what our area is doing, what our Tri-City region is doing. We got elections coming. We got a lot of new businesses that have opened. Schools getting ready to start again. And we just want to bear down and make sure that we get some good quality conversation. And as always, if you want to engage in a conversation, you can contact Channel Albany or Public Broadcast Station 1301 or 203 because we air on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock and then sometime on Fridays at 11. So to my left, we have Miss Cindy, right? Miss Cindy VL,
okay.
Zewditu Electrical. She's with us all the time. I mean, it's important that we we share our time and our concept not only with our women and our mothers, but also with entrepreneurs like Miss Cindy. She has a licensed electrical company. Right. So hopefully, this new cycle coming up, you can get some of our women employed, some of our men employed, and we can get some things going. Say hello to our audience.
Good evening. Cindy VL with Zewditu Electrical Company, and thank you, Ali, for inviting me tonight.
Okay. And then, of course, we have Mr. Vaughn. Usually you don't see him, but he's the man behind the scenes that produces our shows and make everything go right? And also, you have your radio station,
yes,
right?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Right. Hopeshot, right? 107.3.
Not the Hopeshot. It's called the Hopeshot.
The Hopeshot. Okay.
Yeah. Listen, no dope, baby. We want that hope. You know
okay.
We need that hope.
We need that hope. It's called the Hopeshot on 107.3. Show airs on Sunday 6 p.m., Wednesday 7 p.m.
Okay. All right. Okay. So today our focus, was geared toward understanding the dynamics of our region or our community and how we're going into 2024, because we're at the end of 2023, right? We're in August, we're getting ready to go into September. We got mayoral elections, I think, coming up, right? We got county legislative elections coming up, right? So it's a lot happening. Back to school is coming up, right? August, right. September, right? So what's happening? What's going on? What's going on your end of the street?
Right
Mr.
now,
Vaughn?
I'm just grateful, man. To been able to go to a lot of outdoor events and just be part of the culture. Take in some good fun. Most of all, no violence.
Right.
I'm grateful for that, man. I'm grateful, like things have been kind of calm, and I hope they stay calm.
Right.
And I talk a lot about the violence in our community, the gunplay and all that. And as we get older, man, that's all it is, man. It's nonsense. When we younger, we don't see that, right? But when we get older, man, it's put down the guns, man. Put them. Let's have some fun. Put down the guns. That's all I can say.
Okay. All right. What about your neck of the woods, Miss Via? What's going on?
Whoa. Well, since July 4th was great. But I took on a different hat this summer. I had the opportunity of working with the youth in the community. So I got to about 15 youth I worked with that was from the summer youth program by the mayor that funded their salary. And also I had about maybe 13 young children from the age of 6 to 12. And it was a blast. We explored a lot of different places. Mm-hmm. They learned a lot. of different things. We saw where our children were academically, and not only that, but the older kids had opportunity to be mentors and accountable to the younger children that were there, and they develop a bond, new friendship, networking at an early age, and it was great.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
all right. I watched some of your program, and it was interesting how you engaged with the young men and the young women, and I was focusing on the point, you know, where I could see them actually accepting and digesting the information that you were giving them. And it was like I saw them progress, like kind of step up some. And it was good. It was very, very encouraging to see, you know, to see your daughter, right?
Yes, I had my daughter back home from college, and you know, instead of her going on applying at another facility, I was able to, you know, hire her as my co-director for the summer enrichment program.
Right.
So she made a few dollars, you know.
And you had the sister, what's her name?
Miss Mona.
Okay, she was there. She was definitely putting in a lot of time, right?
A lot of time with the youth, you know. So it was good having those two co-directors with me.
Right.
My other daughter, she helped me with the electrical. She was my supervisor on site with the electrical company. So she supervised, made sure things got done and reported back. And it was interesting seeing these two young ladies at you know, executive role for the summer. So.
Right. And so you during the summer spent a lot of time dealing with youth and community from one angle, because you know we had our cameras out in the neighborhood most of the summer, and then Mr. Vaughn had his cameras, but he engaged with the community, right, from a different level with more of the older youth, right?
Well, I mean, for me, again, I was able to go out there with the cameras, talk to some people, you know, how they were feeling about summer activities, the stuff that's going on with the free concerts. You know, I definitely had to speak to a lot of vendors,
right?
You know, and everybody was just high spirited, man. You know, everybody was just uppity, you know, feeling good about the summer. And let's not forget, you know, COVID's lifted,
right?
So we're not restricted like we were, you know. So it kind of feels like we're back where we need to be, you know. And people just coming together, man, and you know, just having fun, and like I said, no violence.
Right. Well, I got a chance to travel some over the past couple of weeks. You know, I covered probably like 3,000 miles, right? Down in Missouri, over to Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Virginia, and just moving around Maryland. And it's like I came back with like a new energy, because remembering my environment here in Albany, right? Our conditions, I was kind of thinking that we were doing good, you know, with homelessness, that we were kind of tackling a little bit, you know, of those problems. Summer programs going pretty good.
Right.
You know, even though there were some incidents, still community showing more love and regard for each other. And, you know, I kind of thought we were doing good, but then after evaluating things, I'm looking at things and no, we got to step it up. Even like down in Missouri, the Walmart, the prices were so different.
Okay.
The restaurant, the food was clean and sharp.
So
you know,
it's different how they was cheaper.
It was cheaper, and it had better quality.
Okay.
Cheaper and better quality, right? And for the same price point for our houses here, $175 to maybe $210, for that same amount of space for that same buck. They were getting 4 and 5 acres, right, with nice houses on them for the same buck. So we need to kind of, open our view or broaden our horizon and start traveling some. It's bigger than just the one location. Even if we got summer homes or we started just to invest in different places, we need to open up our eyes a little bit and broaden our horizon, and kind of know that it's more than just one central place to operate from. While at the same time, we still need to put our work in here, in Albany, Troy, Schenectady, Rensselaer, right? We still need to say, to ourselves, what's out there? What else is out there? You've traveled before, right?
Yeah.
What's some of the other places that you went?
I mean, I've been through Florida, all through the South. I want to go to California. Right. I want to go to California because according to scientists, California's supposed to be chipping off in the next 50, 100 years, right? So I want to get out there before it chip off. Been to Vegas, but I just haven't hit that West Coast yet.
Right. Well, the places that you've been, can you compare the life, or can you compare how the dollar, stretches, or does it cost more? The cost of living more there?
Well, down south is cheaper than up north, right? Unless you going South Florida, right? Because I remember 20 years ago, what's those Arizona drinks?
Right.
Right. We always paid 99 cents up here. Down there, they was marked $1.59. That was 20 years ago. Now the drinks are like $2 no matter where you go.
Right.
Right. So it depends on where you travel to.
Right.
Right. And I did see it different in price gouging.
Right.
Then the only thing with me when I travel and I come back up here, I got to get readjusted, man, because I go through this little depression stage, right. Especially after you leave in a tropical area, like some palm trees and stuff. But any place down south for me, man, especially in the Kakalakis, I could sense a feel of unity. And when I say I could feel that, because people are doing things, man. Especially like Charlotte, North Carolina and stuff like that, they doing stuff, and I'm gonna put it out there. I could feel that sense of blackness,
Right.
And I could feel the sense of achievements and success,
right.
So yeah, I pick up on that energy a lot of times when I travel.
Okay, all right.
And Ali, I don't know, but I had 9 kids, age 6 and 11. And they came up from New York City.
Right.
And when they got to Albany, they were like, wow. And when they got into Schenectady and Niskayuna, they were like, oh my gosh. So I feel that Albany do have the library programs, beautiful. They learned about AI. They had the opportunity of cooking, learning how to sew. They have so many resources. But we need to just get the information and tap into it, because we got to some of these programs and there wasn't really nobody there.
Right.
Just, like our kids, the kids that I bought.
Right.
So sometimes it just take a matter of digging deeper. Albany we went and we played with tennis with 15 Love on the tennis court. Down in the city, you got to go miles to Prospect Park or, Central Park and, to get these resources. But we have beautiful things right underneath us. But it's up to us to discover it and use it.
Right.
You know?
So okay, but I can agree. I can agree. So everything is not like it's bad.
No,
right?
Definitely.
Well, there are a lot of good things.
Well, there's definitely good things, my man. But you gotta remember too, a lot of places with where we are successful at, the politics. The politics is becoming deep, man. Where they want to erase our history. They're trying to make these changes, and it's really going to be effective, man, in a sense where it's going to hurt the kids. You know?
Well, let's break it down. Let's break it down to our area then, right? So, a lot of the development, we always look at like government agencies, but a lot of the development is really dictated by private business or by private companies.
True.
Right? So if we're going to look for a change in our area, then we're going to have to become more assertive when it comes to business. Meaning if we're going to complain about prices in stores, then we're going to have to start to put our money together and support each other and open some stores ourselves. And in some instances, you do have government agencies that do apply more pressure on minority businesses than non-minority businesses. Then we're going to have to step up then too, and be heard, right? And even when it comes to like elections, right? We know sometimes we are enormously disenfranchised, but we're going to have to step up, you know? If we work, we pay taxes, then we need to have proper representation by speaking for those dollars, right?
Let me ask you, right? Like that process, when we say step up, do we step up by getting the messages out there? Do we step up by kind of like cutting back our monies from being spent in these highly political areas? Or do we come up with some solutions, man, where everybody could feel like, listen, this is really hurting me, this is affecting me, I got to get involved.
Right. Well, most likely, it will be some or all of the above suggestions that you're making, because I mean, let's just look at our city. It's roughly between 80 and 100,000, right? Community residents in Albany. We're not all going to think the same. It's ridiculous to think that we all think the same. We're born, bred different goals, right? Different philosophies. But then there is a consciousness of how we need to operate as a community or a social group.
True.
And as each group moves the way it moves, we need to be, expressive or explicit in how we as African Americans or melanated people, right, move, or organic people, which now a lot of us are waking up to our history or a lot of the birthright,
But this is what I'm talking about. How do we like be effective in our messaging?
Where do we start? Like,
where do we start? But I'm looking at the how does the message become effective, right? Because we have like the experience, the knowledge, and the motivation, right, to make things happen. But unfortunately, the stuff that I'm seeing in our communities, right, and there's a lot of good stuff too. Let's not overlook the good stuff, right? Because I love seeing younger folks, man. Like you ever go to the market and you see a young couple together, probably like mid-20s or early 20s, and they shopping together with a little kid or something, right? And I love that, man, because I come from that family tradition where like people stayed married,
right,
60, 70 years, right? So those type of messages is what I'm trying to get out there too, especially like when you vibe with somebody, what's the first thing we like to say? Oh, she's my wifey, right? It's no longer a wife. Or that's just my girl, right? That's my lady. So tradition for me, man, is becoming effective, right? And getting this message out there that we have to unify ourselves, our families, and our communities.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So we could probably look to some churches.
I mean, we
push that message.
I mean, we can again, like, I think everybody is doing a part. Now, if you say, how do we effectively evaluate who's doing what, then you have to bring the different organizations in the room. Are the churches doing some effective things? Of course. Are the masjids doing some effective things? Of course. Are some of the other groups or organizations, right, that speak against violence, or some of the organizations that do tournaments and things for our youth? I think they are. But now, to say who has more impact, I think that would be a waste of time. I think it would be more efficient if we looked at the 15, just like Albany, the 15 different wards that we have or the areas that we have. If we evaluated them and we saw what was successful in one, duplicated in another, it could also be successful.
So in other words, don't make it competitive on who's being most effective. Just stay focused on being effective.
Right, because I mean, I always look for things to be quantitative as opposed to, quality. Because you could say this group has been in existence for 50 years and the quality of product or service that they provide is more efficient than this group that just came out. And that would be like kind of, creating a competition that's not warranted or not healthy, because this organization may understand the youth a little bit better than this older organization, right? Because things change. So I think, again, the biggest thing is doing something. Like, the African proverb, it said the little hoopy bird was in the jungle and it was or in the forest, and it was a forest fire, and then the elephants and giraffes and everyone was standing around watching the fire, and the little bird was flying like 3 miles to the river, picking up a little mouthful of water, coming back to the fire and squirting on the fire. Yeah. So he did it like five or six times. So he breathing heavy, and the other animals are laughing at him. They said, "What are you doing, little bird?" He said, I know. It's not going to put out the fire, but I got to do something, right? So the key is not necessarily all the time to make it a competition, right? Because a group that puts its own money behind its own efforts is going to do what they want to do. Right. They're going to evaluate it, and they're going to proceed the way that they think is most effective or best, to handle the situation. Right. So the way you really move, in my opinion, like I said, is to look at the whole and see where you're getting the most results, the best positive results, and then start to emulate that, and then turn around and go to some of the agencies where we have our tax monies, right? And tell them these are the particular areas that we need to concentrate, and this is where we need to put our money. Because you can tell an agency where you want them to target or to, invest most of that money. But we don't think like that.
She brought up the churches, right? And for me, there's a plus and pro and con with how the churches, don't get me wrong, it's all good intentions, right? But a lot of times when we depend on food pantries, and we become dependable on it, some people really need it, right? Some people take advantage of it for the ones who need it, right? And a lot of times, people run to the food pantry because they choose to be irresponsible and not feed themselves and their families for whatever reasons. It could be whatever habits or whatever the reasons are, right? But again, I think it's an enabling thing and it's a helpful thing at the same time. So how do we like kind of balance it out? Yeah, right. The crutches, right? Because there's some crutches there, So it just needs to be balanced out, right? And like I said, it's all good intentions, right? But still, it's kind of holding certain people back who may feel, as long as I could go get that, I don't have to do this.
Right. Well, I mean, you might want to answer that, or if it left up to me. Things are never as simple as they appear to be. While a lot of people do need that help, right?
Right.
You still need to evaluate the mental stability or the condition of the person that's receiving that help. Because what's the difference between a person that's receiving food stamps and getting help than a person that's going to a pantry getting help? What's the difference? So are you to say that this person is going to get a selective amount or ration of food and a certain quality and kind of food, as opposed to this person be able to make their own choices, right? Or is it that this person contributed more to the system than this person contributed to the system? Most of the time, people that receive food from pantries and stuff, to me, they receive a diet that's not really a healthy diet, right?
Good point.
But that's just my perception.
That's a good point.
That's
a good point.
It may be official to sustain them until they, you know what I'm saying, until they regain their composure, or, you know, until they find a job and they get back in the swing of things.
And that's you said the word, get back in the swing of things, because if you have somebody who may have lost their job, right, may be laid off, and then there's, you know, there's the outlets, right, for people who are in need.
Right.
Fine. A lot of times you don't got to stand in the back of the line.
Right.
Because you really in need, right?
Right.
You got proof that this is what's going on. For the ones who don't have that proof and choose to become dependent on the system,
Right.
that's pretty much what I'm looking at, because you got the responsible and the irresponsible.
Right.
Right.
I think it's all about the mindset, you know? You
It
work
is.
on one person at a time and just keep on exposing them to different options, maybe. Then you know, you could consider that a win.
Right.
You know?
Well, this turned out to be a real good topic, and we're going to definitely have to, you know, put together a follow-up show to get a little deeper into it. Maybe even come with some stats and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I really enjoy, you know, having you guys on as guests. You're the team anyway.
Yeah, we the team.
So just let them know how to reach you, Mr. Vaughn.
Yes, Mr. MR_Vaughn, VAUGHN 737 Yahoo. I'm also on Spreaker.com under the Hopeshot. Spreaker.com is my podcast home.
Okay, great.
Also, we're on WCAA 107.3, the voice of Albany, New York. You can always go to the website grantarts.org, and I'm quite sure you'll find something to get connected with me with. So, you know, basically, like I don't allow myself too many platforms.
Okay.
Right, because it's hard for me to keep up with myself, let alone some platforms, you know.
Right.
But I just want to ask you a question. I know we're running on time, right? Well, you know what? We save it for next time.
All right.
All right, so you can reach me at the old-fashioned way by phone, 518-595-9889.
Okay, and as always, Black Wall Street Legacy Inc., we thank you, Albany, Troy, Rensselaer, Schenectady, inviting us into your home, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Salute.
Good night.